Welcome to Cascadia Coast News. It is January 15th, 2025. So let's go to Washington State. Uh, Washington State has a new governor. As anybody who is living in the state of Washington knows that Jay Inslee is leaving and that Bob Ferguson has been sworn in today as governor of Washington State. And upon being sworn in, he has issued 3 executive orders right off the bat. I'm not going to state my opinions on them, but I'm going to read you this article. And this is from Fox 13, Seattle.com. Washington Governor Bob Ferguson issues 3 executive orders after swearing in. So, Washington Governor Bob Ferguson was sworn into office on Wednesday along with other newly elected state leaders. Now, I do not like it when they call themselves leaders because really they're not leaders. They're supposed to be representatives of the people of the state of Washington. They're not supposed to be called leaders, they are representatives, including the governor. Ferguson signed 3 executive orders into law shortly after the inauguration. The orders addressing housing, reproductive freedom, and permitting reform. So basically, the things that he's most concerned with as governor are housing, a woman's right to choose, and permitting reform. You know, I don't know Bob Ferguson, but what I have seen of him so far, as he was the Attorney General, I did not like. I don't know him as a person, but as an attorney, he was a pretty big pain in the ass for the state of Washington. That's all I'm going to say about that. But some of the things that I have heard so far are kind of concerning, especially with House Bill 1321. And I'm going to read that to you here in a minute. But I'm going to read the rest of this article first. But I do want to hear your opinions on what y'all think of Bob Ferguson and if he's going to do a good job or not for Washingtonians. I personally think this is going to be a disaster, but he could prove me wrong. Okay, the executive orders direct state agencies to take specific actions on these key issues. Housing. State agencies are instructed to review regulations affecting housing, permitting, and construction, identifying provisions that can be streamlined, deferred, or eliminated. So, this would be like for low-income housing and things like that. Which could be a good thing, but if it's used in a bad way, it could be a disaster. I am not going to go into what them bad ways could be, but it could be involve people that are not supposed to be here unless they are here legally, and that is all I'm going to say about that. Okay, so reproductive freedom. The Department of Health is tasked with convening a roundtable of medical providers, reproductive health experts, and policymakers to recommend strategies for protecting reproductive freedom. Now, most of you know that Trump tried to ban abortion. So this is where I think this is coming from. Bob Ferguson said that he is going to do his best to fight off anything that goes against what he is trying to do in the state of Washington. He has set aside $50 million of taxpayer money to fight the Trump administration. And I don't think as a person that setting aside $50 million to fight your adversary is a good use of public funds, especially the people who pay taxes in the state of Washington. But that's my own opinion. Okay, and permitting reform. All state agencies are directed to reduce permit and license processing times. Agencies failing to meet the deadlines will be required to refund application fees. And I'm not exactly sure what the hell that even means. But if I have to, I will do an updated video on these things. But I probably won't. Okay, so in his inaugural address, Ferguson emphasized the need for government reform and bipartisanship, citing the resilience and innovation of Washingtonians. He referenced former Governor Dan Evans' 1965 inaugural address, urging decisive action in the face of challenges. Now, these challenges that he's referring to are from the Trump administration. His main concern is what Donald Trump is going to do as a president. I, for one, am for Trump. I voted for Trump, so, a lot of people might not like that, but I didn't feel that Harris would have been a good president. And it's not just because she was a woman, but for some of the things that she did when she was Attorney General of California, San Francisco. So that influenced my decision to who I voted for greatly. Okay, so despite these and other challenges, I'm optimistic. I know together that we can make real progress and increase opportunities for Washingtonians, Ferguson said. Let us listen to one another without consideration for party so that the strongest arguments prevail. That is how we do our best work. So what's next? Ferguson also expressed his commitment to working with President Trump where possible, while standing firm on issues like reproductive freedom. So anything that he does not agree with the Trump administration, he's going to try to fight it off. We'll just see. We'll just have to see how President Trump does. He is inaugurated on the 20th. I personally think that we have some major challenges coming for our country. I'm going to be doing some videos that are pretty disturbing here in the near future. The Department of Homeland Security and the FBI has said that there could be copycat terrorists, like the one who did the truck bashing in New Orleans. So that kind of concerns me when they are basically saying that there's copycat terrorists out there. But I'm going to do another video on this, a more in-depth video on that. And then I also got another video that I've got to release here pretty soon, and that's from Dr. Peter Hotez and what he said about January 21st. Anyways, I'm not going to give that away. That is for a different time. I just want to get through the rest of this article and show you House Bill 1321. Okay, so our mission must be to speed up government, improve customer service, and center the people in every decision we make, he said. The governor highlighted several bipartisan legislative proposals, including efforts to provide free meals for K through 12 students, support for public servants through low-interest home loans, and measures to address the youth mental health crisis. Fergus concluded by expressing his eagerness to collaborate with legislators on these initiatives, emphasizing the importance of bipartisan cooperation in achieving the state's goals. And we are going to see here very soon what these state goals are. Now I'm going to introduce this proposed bill that they have got in the Senate right now, that they have got in committee. It's House Bill 1321. And this concerns me, and I want to know your opinions on this. So this is by these people, but a couple of names that ring a bell are Berry, that's Liz Berry, and anything by her is bad. Ryu, another one. Okay, so an act relating to the governor's authority to limit outside militia activities within the state, adding a new section to Chapter 38-8 RCW and declaring an emergency. So, what is the emergency that he is declaring? Well, as soon as Trump takes office, he has said very, very plainly that he is going to be deporting illegal aliens. Now, I think this is exactly why this was drafted, but I also think it might have been, they're thinking that maybe a possible civil war could happen in this state, and that if a civil war did happen in this state, then what this bill would do is make it to where no outside help could come in and help the people. That's my 2 cents. That's what I think, but I want to know what y'all think. Okay, so a militia from another state may not enter the state to enforce state or federal laws without the written authorization of the governor or a federal call to service pursuant to RCW 38-8-10. The governor may withdraw a previously granted authorization at any time, including any compact or agreement pursuant to RCW 38-8-100. Immediately after receiving written notice of withdrawal or denial of entry, the militia must cease its activities and leave the state. So this would be like the National Guard from a different state. Federal enforcement trying to come in the state and enforcing federal laws. I don't know. I personally think this is not a good bill, and it's kind of scary that he thinks he even has this kind of authority when he doesn't. Section 2. This act is necessary for the immediate preservation of public peace, health, or safety, or support of the state and existing public institutions, and takes effect immediately. So this is an immediate declaration. Why the urgency? Something smells really, really fishy, and I'm very concerned about this, and so are a lot of others, like the conservative ladies of Washington. She's pretty concerned about it too, and there are others. I do not think that this bill is in the favor of the people. I personally think that Bob Ferguson, that he just cares about the state, and he cares about, he's by the state and for the state and not actually for the people. And he has proven time and time again when he was Attorney General of Washington that is the case. Anyways, if you like these videos, please subscribe and hit the thumbs up, because that really, really helps the channel out. But this is Cascadian Coast News signing out, and y'all have a good night. And please let me know in the comments what you think about this.